Hello, my loves. Welcome back. Today's practice is going to be a little bit different. I'm still sitting here doing my gratitude is yummy practice, but today I wanted the practice itself to be silent because this morning I was reminded of something I think is really important about gratitude. Gratitude is so easy when everything feels good, right? It's easy to say you trust God and you trust the process and you trust divine timing when, the money is flowing, when things are falling into place, when the opportunities are coming easily, when everything is just easy. It's easy to believe you're supported when all your bills are paid, right? It's easy to feel abundant when your bank account reflects abundance back to you, right? When you have cash. But what about when it doesn't? What about when you wake up and life immediately gives you every reason to panic? Because that was my morning today. I woke up already knowing that, I am behind financially. I'm trying to catch up on bills, and it's been going great receiving a lot of money without working, and it's wonderful and it's helping and it's amazing. And I'm so grateful, but I'm doing my best to navigate this season without going back to a traditional job, trusting that I am supported and that everything is going to work itself out, following my dreams. And then I went to pay my rent this morning, which was probably the first mistake I made, grabbing my phone to go pay my rent. But it is the 10th, and I just had to make sure it got paid, right? So I go to pay my rent this morning, and I see that I had been charged over $1,500 for plumbing repairs. Yeah, you can imagine my all of it, okay? My all the feelings. And then on top of that, I saw that my credit score had dropped 30 points. 30 points. And I mean, that's because my cards are maxed out and I had some late payments. Wait, and there was more. On top of that, I woke up to no heating oil in my boiler. And I know it's summer, but hot showers still matter, okay? I still enjoy hot showers in the summer, and so do my kids. So I cannot not have hot water even in the summer. But that added another $450 that I really did not feel like I had to spend. So it was a trying morning. It was a trying morning, and I'm going to be completely transparent with you. I spiraled, okay? I cried. I panicked. I felt the shame. I felt the fear. I felt the pressure of everything happening all at once. There was even a moment where I literally thought, like, why am I doing this? What is the point of doing all of this? What is the point of being here? What is the point of continuing to follow this dream that I do feel called to do, but I don't feel like it's rewarding me financially, and therefore is it a waste of time? Like, I thought about all those things. And you know what? I let myself do that. I let myself have those moments. I let myself feel it. I didn't immediately reach for a positive affirmation. I didn't tell myself I wasn't allowed to feel all the fear because I'm spiritual, right? I didn't blame myself for temporarily forgetting everything that I truly do believe. I let myself be human. I let myself do the crying. I let myself feel the fears. I let myself feel the shame. I let myself feel the frustration, the pressure, the exhaustion, all of it. But what I didn't do was dwell in it, okay? Because it passed. And it actually passed very, very quickly. Because eventually I reached for gratitude. I opened my journal. I started doing my gratitude is yummy practice. And almost instantly, I did start feeling better. I started remembering, wait a minute, I just paid my rent. Yes, I woke up to another bill, but I just paid my rent, y'all. I just paid my rent, and I don't have a job, right? And I paid that rent with money I received without working a traditional job. I needed heating oil today, and somehow, some way, I was able to buy some heating oil for my tank, right? I started this morning thinking about everything I didn't have. I did. I did. I started this morning thinking about all the things that are not going right financially in my life right now. I did. I did, right? However, I was also using the resources I did have to take care of myself, to take care of my home. And that made me look around like I woke up in this beautiful home. I woke up in my warm, comfortable, beautiful bed, in my cozy, gorgeous bedroom. I have a nice roof over my head. My rent is paid. There's oil in my tank, right? There will be hot water for a nice shower. My kids are taken care of. My needs continue to be met, even without a traditional job. And then I realized I was looking directly at evidence of financial support, even though I was telling myself that I wasn't financially supported. And I know that's wild, but fear will do that, right? Fear will take one number, one extra bill, one credit situation, your credit score, your credit card balances, right? One bank balance, and convince you that it represents your entire picture, represents your entire situation, your entire life, but it doesn't. It doesn't. And this is why I do this practice. This is why I practice gratitude. Not because, gratitude is going to make all these extra bills and stress completely disappear. No, the $1,500 balance is still there. Okay, it did not disappear. Gratitude doesn't mean that I suddenly don't care about my credit score. It doesn't mean that I'm pretending everything is perfect. Gratitude just pulls me out of that tunnel vision of fear and lack and panic. It just pulls me out of there long enough so I can see the whole picture again. And the whole picture tells a very different story. My whole picture said, Jules, look how supported you already are. Look at everything around you. Look at the things that have already been handled, right? Out of seemingly magical circumstances. Look at all the money that has found you just in the last week. It's incredible. Look at every impossible situation you've already made it through. Look at how many times you thought, I don't know how I'm going to do this. And somehow I did. And I remembered something else. You know how things seem to appear to get so much louder and so much more wrong right before they change? Sometimes when you're calling in something completely different, everything that no longer matches where you're going seems to come screaming to the surface, right? And whether you want to call it manifestation or a test of faith or God redirecting you, an identity shift, life forcing you to see things differently, I decided I wasn't going to look at this morning and call it a downward spiral, or that things were going wrong. I decided to look at this morning and say, things are shifting. Something is shifting. And once I made that decision, I couldn't help but smile through the tears, smile through the fear, smile through the discord that was happening internally. I genuinely smiled, because what if this isn't evidence that everything is falling apart, but it's evidence that I am standing at the edge of something completely different right now? What if I don't have to know exactly how it's going to happen next week? What if my only responsibility right now is to decide where I'm going to place my attention? Because I have two stories available to me today, right? I woke up and I saw one thing, but there was something else that I also could see. I can stare at the bills, right? on one hand, I can look at the debt, I can focus on the credit score, the things that need to be paid, the things that haven't yet happened, right? I can spend the entire day rehearsing that story of I don't have enough. Or I can look on the other hand and I can acknowledge all those things are real, yes, but what about all the other things that are also real? Like the money that has been finding me lately, like the fact that my rent got paid, the fact that my needs are being continuing to be met, the fact that solutions keep appearing, the fact that I continue to be supported, the fact that I continue to receive even when it feels impossible. And there are financial blessings I can't even see yet making their way toward me. So I can look at those two different lenses and choose where I want to put my attention to today. And so I chose to put my attention on the second hand. That's where I'm putting my attention today, not because I'm running away from reality or, you know, running away from um, what's happening and my feelings. Absolutely not. I'm choosing which part of reality I want to magnify. And my loves, that is the practice. Gratitude isn't pretending the darkness isn't there. It's remembering to look for the light while you're standing in the darkness. It's remembering that one hard morning does not get to rewrite the story of your entire life. It doesn't get to rewrite the story you're currently creating. It's allowing yourself, yeah, to cry at 8 a.m. in the morning and still decide at 8:30 that, oh my God, I am so freaking blessed. Both can be true and you can do both. You can be scared and then let that ride and come back to faith. You can feel overwhelmed, let that ride and come back to feeling supported. You can have the bills due and still be abundant. You can have a moment where you do forget who the heck you are, but then come back to remembrance. Come back to remembering that those things are still miracles, right? Not that it's not that we don't ever need to spiral. We just don't have to live in it. We just don't have to live there for that long. We don't have to make that our story. We don't have to make that our day. Gratitude gives you a way back home, right? And this morning, gratitude brought me home. So, what started as this absolutely seemingly horrible morning, stressful morning, became one of the most magical mornings I've had in a really, really long time because I remembered very, very quickly. I remembered what I have. I remembered how far I've come. I remembered what I've already received and achieved. I remembered how many times life has supported me in the past. And therefore, it will continue to support me. And I remembered that I'm not going to use a temporary circumstance to predict my future or to write my story for me, especially when I know what I'm calling in. So, today, instead of continuing to spiral, we are going to stay in the celebratory mood and make that the moment. Yes, we are celebrating. I'm celebrating the rent I paid. I'm celebrating the heating oil I was able to buy somehow. I'm celebrating every single dollar that has already found me. I'm celebrating every bill that has already been handled. I'm celebrating every financial blessing I can see and the ones that I can't see yet because I can feel them coming, literally. I'm even choosing to celebrate this uncomfortable little chapter because I have a feeling one day I'm going to look back at this morning, this exact morning, I'm going to say, I remember when this shift happened. I remember when this was beginning. That was the moment I stopped allowing what I could see to determine what I believed was possible for me. That was the moment I decided to trust the evidence of support instead of the evidence of fear. So, my loves, if you're watching this while perhaps you're going through your own spiral or your own tough morning, babe, have your spiral, okay? Have your cry, be angry, be scared, completely be human. You don't have to perform positivity. You don't need to perform gratitude. When you're ready, you can always come back. But what gratitude does is it makes that gap a little shorter each time. And the more you practice it, the shorter and shorter it takes for you to come back. Okay? Just find one thing that's working, and then find another, and then another. Remember all the things that have already been handled for you. Think about them. Remember what you've already survived. Remember every unexpected blessing that found you before that moment. And allow gratitude to remind you that this moment is not your whole story. There is still so much goodness here. There is still so much coming. Okay? And maybe, just maybe, things aren't actually falling apart at all. Maybe they're rearranging themselves for something even greater. And today, I choose to believe that they are. And I cannot wait to see what happens next. I am so excited. Thank you, my loves, for listening. Thank you for being here. And thank you for always choosing gratitude. And gratitude is yummy with me. I love you all so much. And I will see you in the next one. Have an amazing, magical day. Mwah. Ciao.